Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about having a Leo Sun and Gemini Venus in a natal chart. Now, first off, with a Leo Sun, your basic fundamental character may be magnanimous, confident, prideful, dignified, and domineering. Now, however, with a Gemini Venus, your relationships, in those relationships, you may be somewhat restless and more adaptable in these relationships. Because, I mean, keep in mind, Leo's sun being, Leo is a fixed sign, of course, and the person, the basic character may be more resolute, but when you have Gemini as your Venus sign, in relationships, you may show more pliability and more adaptability. Now, the connections may be mercurial as well. You may be a lot of, connections, the people may be very changeable in them, and you may be restless in those relationships. You may become bored easily in these relationships or connections if they become overly stale or a monotonous. Variety and diversity, is imperative, for people that have a Gemini Venus. And even though Leo's sun can be very, loyal and, may exhibit or exude a fierce loyalty, when you have the Gemini Venus, you may, again, there could be a lot of restlessness in them. There may be a very strong aversion to monotony. And then, as a result, if things become too constant, there's too much of that sameness in the connections, the person may decide, enough is enough, and it may be time to move on sooner than later. So, now with Venus coming before the sun, as far as the positioning goes, because of course Gemini comes before Leo astrologically. Now, Venus being posited before the sun, others may often take priority and precedence over matters that are more self-centered and pertaining to the self. And now, the thing is, in others, and those relationships, in general, whether it's important friends, the marriage partner, significant other, romantic connections. And also, too, if Venus makes a semi-square aspect to the sun, there may be a conflict between more of those self-centered matters and those that are connected with relationships. Now, a semi-square, for those of you that don't know, is, a modified version of a square aspect. It's half a square. It's 45 degrees. Now, I would say, though, if you have a tight semi-square aspect, it could be comparable in terms of its impact and effect as a loose square aspect. And now, again, if you have the semi-square aspect with the sun and Venus, again, there may be some clash or conflict between the matters that are more connected with the self and those with others. Those that relationships, again, the marriage partner, significant other, romantic connections. And, as far as, Venus and Gemini, those, as far as the relationships go, you may have a connection with one or more people that actually have a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be with those that are mercurial, restless, adaptable, contradictory, loquacious, versatile, quick-witted, those that are clever and shrewd, but it could be others that have a tendency to talk too much and gossip as well. And now another thing about this, this combination, having a Leo sun and Gemini Venus in one's natal chart, is that the person may bring that vibrant, exuberant, and confident, Leo energy into Gemini-related things that are enjoyed. Venus is connected with what we enjoy, love, what we're enamored with. And having a Gemini Venus, people that have that placement may simply love to multitask, to express versatility. It could be things connected with manual dexterity, such as auto and refrigeration mechanics. It may be doing, something with communication, whether it be writing, journalism, data or satellite communication. It could be doing, something enjoyable like a Gemini-related sport, I would say, even such as, like a quick reaction sport, such as badminton or racquetball or even table tennis as some examples. And also, too, the same may apply for money-making endeavors, because remember, Venus is connected with money and generating income. And having a Gemini Venus, the person may simply make money in manifold things. There could be a lot of versatility and diversity expressed in generating income, or it could be doing something Gemini related, again, whether it could be something associated with journalism, reporting, writing, something with manual dexterity, such as auto or refrigeration mechanics, a communication field, such as data or satellite communications, or even doing something which requires a lot of mobility, such as like a driver or, working as a mail carrier, as some examples. Now, also, too, when you have this combination, Leo, Sun, and Gemini, Venus, okay, there may be much resoluteness, confidence, and self-assuredness in one's actions, which is Leo, Sun, but maybe more mercurial, ambivalent, and indecisive in monetary matters. There may be more changeability in those matters. There could be, because you're talking about, Gemini being very restless, very changeable, and mercurial. Now, and the thing too is that, the person may put much focus, on attention-seeking ventures, which is the Sun and Leo. The Sun is what we put our focus and attention on. But the Sun and Leo, there may be a lot of focus and attention-seeking ventures. Gaining, notoriety, recognition, exposure, doing things which one can be lauded and praised for. And then one's self-worth, though, may be connected with, versatility, diversity, and cerebral ability. Now, the thing, too, is that the Leo Sun, may be loud and boisterous. The Venus and Gemini what they value, though, is more, adaptability, cerebral ability, being able to diversify. So you do have, some, disparity, when you're talking about a Leo Sun and Gemini Venus. And going back to, I want to be kind and rewind and going back to, this possible semi-square aspect that can exist between Gemini Venus and Leo Sun. Now, let's say if somebody has a Gemini Venus at 29 degrees and they have a Leo Sun at 15 degrees. That would form a semi-square aspect as an example. And sorry, I didn't say that earlier. I'd forgotten about that. So I wanted to get to that and, show that as an example to others. So, again, this could really be, in general, when you look at Leo Sun and Gemini Venus, it could be an outgoing combination because you do have, the Leo Sun, the basic fundamental character being gregarious and extroverted. Gemini Venus may value, really, talking, disseminating, assimilating information, communicating facts. So you do have, communication in general, I should say. And so this is where, you could have, this is somebody that could be one of those people at the parties that can, can liven it up, I would say, as well, because, Leo Sun can crave excitement. Venus and Gemini may value, things that are, just general exciting situations. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.